Hello everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie. If you've been watching for a long time, you've heard that introduction way too many times. I'm sorry. If you are new, this is who I am. I'm a homeschool mom to 3 kiddos. My son has autism, he is the eldest, and then I have 2 daughters, and I homeschool all of them. I am therapist and speech therapist, and I do all the therapies with my son as well. And I am just busy, and I wanted to share the joy that comes with that, as well as some of the lows and how I handle it, how I deal with it, so on and so forth. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Now, I thought, because it is almost, there's some people who have already started their homeschool year. I have not. We have a birthday coming up on the 16th of August. And so I am busy with that kind of planning. And then my children really have their friends and stuff like that that go to a brick and mortar school. So we like to make sure that we have play dates in place, and we're available to do that during the summer. So our start date is in September, and I thought I would just talk a little bit about some of the goals that I have for the 2022-23 school year. And I've broken them up into 2 distinct groups. I homeschool my girls first thing in the morning, and we end around 1 or 2. They're typically developing, and so they need a lot of time, as well as my son. And so I end up homeschooling later. His sitting down doing school work time is very narrow, and so I really have to target the things that will be the most bang for my buck, if you will. And so that's why I've broken them up into 2 groups, because my day kind of follows that pattern. So for homeschooling my daughters, I have my number 1 goal is to teach them how to do personal Bible time. It's been something that's been on my heart as they've gotten a little bit older. We've, of course, done family discussion time about the Bible. Our curriculum is Christ-centered curriculum, and so we've been doing that sort of thing, but it was not something that I grew up knowing how to do myself. It was very start, stop, and haphazard and whatever. And so the next video after this one will be what my plan is, how I am going to do that, and all the free resources that I have put together that I've found on Google, on the internet, and then printed off, and what I've been doing for that. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. But it was something that I wanted to make a concerted effort to do. And it's my number 1 goal. It's going to be one of the first things we do after Read Aloud, is really spend a good 15-20 minutes, if not longer, if that's the way the Lord leads. And I want to make sure that that's something that we establish as a habit for my children. So the next one is I want to be more consistent with our start time for school. I know, like, towards the end of the year, you're getting more tired and exhausted. That is amplified by my son, who one of the things that kind of goes hand in hand with autistic children is a difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. For Darian, thankfully, it's kind of both, but he does sleep once he's asleep, and if he does get up in the night to use the washroom, he falls asleep on our little pull-out recliner. There's the word. It's the recliner in our room, and he just like falls on that and falls asleep the rest of the night. But it does take him a long time, and it usually means that we're not going to bed until 1, 2 in the morning, and that means that our homeschool day, there's no getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning for me. I need so much sleep. I always have. And so I would just like to do it a little, like a half hour earlier. And just accept that some days I'm just going to be a little tired on those days that maybe it took till 2 o'clock. I also need to be a little bit more strict with myself. I don't know about you, but as you get more tired, the nighttime routine, and then just stopping yourself from like endlessly scrolling Facebook or YouTube videos or whatever, my brain just gets to a point where I'm so tired, I just like I'm mindless until I suddenly realize, oh my goodness, it's 2:30 in the morning. I could have been in bed already. So it's one of the things that I just want to, as a goal for myself, to be a little bit more consistent with that. For each of my daughters, I have different goals for myself to kind of keep track of for them. So for my Inara, she is somebody who really, really, really is very conscientious. You know, if we're going to be late, she's on top of that and letting us know minute by minute that passes that we're going to be late, even if we're not. And she wants to get things done at certain times. And so I have gotten her a planner so that she can feel like she's taking charge. And I don't necessarily feel that I need to necessarily check up on her all the time. For my other daughter, Sienna, she's the one who tries to be a little bit tricky and wily and not do all of the pages that have been given to her, and she just puts them away. And so for myself, I just want to be more aware and not catch her, that's not the right word, just be able to be more accountable or be her person of accountability so that she isn't trying to skirt around getting things accomplished, because that means it's going to take her a lot longer to learn and establish those, say, math facts or whatever. If she's just trying to get around it, or she's been like that since for forever. So if something was difficult, she would excuse herself and go to the bathroom when she was at the brick and mortar school. And, if addition, like they turned addition into subtraction, she turned the subtraction into addition. She's always trying to find creative ways to solve her insecurities or whatever. So it's not coming from a place of malice so much as I'm not comfortable. How can I make this more easy for me? Or, I want to go do this. So, I'll just put that away and mom will never know. And then at the end of the year, I'm like, hey, how come you didn't do this page? So I need to be a little bit more on the ball with that. And then again, I think we talked about this in I don't know how many videos ago, but I want to ask the girls to help me be done our homeschool with the girls by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My girls can go off on tangents and then you're trying to pull them back, and I think that's a normal kid thing. But because I need to do Darian in the afternoon because he is not a morning guy, I really want to make sure that we go by 2 o'clock. You guys are doing your independent stuff if there's any school left to do. So for Darian and his homeschool goals and his sunrise goals, that's his therapy program, I have a couple of things. So math, as time has gone on, we've been in Math UC Beta, so the addition and subtraction book, for quite some time now. And he has really been, as we've gone through the year, really, really resistant. And then I'm finding myself, again, fitting him in around whenever the girls and I finished, which has meant that he doesn't get as much. I always feel like he's getting sloppy seconds. And I'd like to change that and renew our homeschool schedule and routine for him so that he feels like he's getting the best of mommy too. So I'm thinking of changing. Instead of using the blocks so much, I'm thinking about using the calculator and having him maybe punch in the answers that way. I want to see what will happen if I do something so completely and drastically different. He gets the concepts, that's not the issue, but I also want to, like, I mean, 90% of adults and people don't do math by hand. We know how, maybe some of us have forgotten, but we generally use a calculator or our phones or whatever to do our mathematics. And so as he's getting older, he just turned 14, I want to give him the chance to really try that and just see. Everything when you're homeschooling an autistic child is, or a special needs child, is adjust, adjust, adjust. If you think you've got it in a month or two, you're going to have to adjust again based on how they're doing. If they're doing great and awesome with what you're doing, then move on to the next. And so I'm thinking that that's what we're going to try. I'm just going to like kind of blow it out of the water and do something so different and see how he responds to that. I also really want to focus more on the life skills of math. So really working with money is something that I really want to do. And there's a money game that I think I'll link down below that I play with him in his Sunrise Playroom ideas. And so I really want to see if I can't make that a core part of our curriculum for him, just because I think that that's going to be a long-term life skill that will help with his math. And you can do that with the calculator too. Our gather round units are working just fine. I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to try and maybe add another page. So we've been doing 2 pages a day, but I think I'm going to try and add 3 and see if I can't do that. And then also adjust if he's giving me a lot of pushback on a day doing paperwork, that maybe there's a way I can like back it up and go, okay, we're gonna go do playroom fun instead. I have found that I've been kind of really rigid myself, go figure, just wanting to get the paperwork done because it's good for him to practice those handwriting skills and stuff like that. But sometimes we eat up all of that time before I have to start making supper, and I don't actually get to do the playroom. And the playroom is so important. That's his therapy place, and it's really, really important. So I think I just need to adjust how I think about it, because some days he's awesome, he's doing great. Jamie, recognize red light versus green lights. But there's something about trying to balance the need to do homeschool and the need to have paperwork when your facilitator comes, and not letting them just give up really easily, and at the same time recognizing that this is now a red light and we need to change our plans and adjust based on what his needs are in that moment. So that's another goal for myself, to just be more mindful and more, less rigid when it comes to doing that, because I do feel the ticking of the time clock and the fact that somebody's going to come and ask me. And my facilitator has never, ever, ever made me feel that way. I think that's, again, being a child of the system and wanting to make sure that I've done everything I can to prepare him for life and college and university, which probably won't happen for him, but it's amazing how hard it is to get out of your mind. I do, with that in mind, I do want to try and spend 2 hours in the playroom. So that means 1 hour from 2 to 3 doing whatever school work we have, if it's less, bonus, and then from 3 to 5 doing his playroom time. And again, it's gonna have to depend. I'm gonna see, but I really want to make the playroom fun time, or his Sunrise program time, a real priority this year. And I found, as I've been really focused on the girls, trying to get up to speed on that and making sure that my daughter, who wants to be a marine archaeologist, and that means college and university, that she feels like that I'm not leaving gaps for her. I have had to put Darian to the wayside, just energy wise. So I'm trying to still figure out the balance after several years of homeschooling. So I hope that makes you feel better if you're like, oh, the balance. I also want to be more intentional about doing life skills with Darian. This is one that we struggle with, but I think can be incorporated in his playroom fun time. I need to do a complete overhaul of his homeschool or his playroom. And I think that once I do that, then I will be able to really focus more on adding games that include life skills. So that's a big one for me. And then hopefully, once that's all kind of wrapped up, then he will actually want to do it, because doing it in real life during real life time, like, let's make your breakfast, and he's like, mommy's turn, and putting on his shoes, he'll put one on, and then he looks at me and goes, it's your turn. So it's one of those things where I think the playroom is going to be a better fit to make those life skill games, doing that instead of trying to do it in actual real life and then transferring it from the playroom into life. So that's kind of my plan. And then this one I'm still praying about. There's been a few people who I have thought may be good volunteers for our sunrise playroom time, and yeah, I'm just not sure. There's been, like, they've approached me and then I send them a message and then I don't hear back, and it's just like I'm trying to decide if it's worth expending energy into that at this time. And so I'm really praying for wisdom and guidance, that the Lord will tell me whether or not it's even going to work, or whether, yeah, I should just wait on doing that sort of thing. So those are my goals for the 2022-23 homeschool year. I am really excited. I think the biggest issue that I'm having right now is that I still have a whole bunch of things to do, and I've not really wrapped up anything because, it's just the way things are. So I'm just hoping that by the time September rolls around, I'm going to feel ready and prepared and all good. So I hope this has been a good video for you, that you've enjoyed it, but that has also encouraged your heart, that even somebody who's been homeschooling for about 7 years now can still feel a little bit unsettled, still need to do a lot of praying and prep work and all of the things. I hope that helps you if you are brand new to this and feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes it's still going to happen, I'm sorry to say. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, one adorable day, and we will talk to you later. Bye.